Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my beloved brothers and sisters. Welcome to this gentle daily reminder.
My dear soul, we ask Allah to teach us what benefits us, to allow us to benefit from what He has taught us, and to increase us in knowledge. We ask Him, through His most beautiful names, to keep us firm upon His path until the day we return to Him. There is a sincerity in making this supplication, because knowledge without benefit is a burden, and guidance without firmness is fleeting. Every step we take in this life is in need of His support, and every breath carries a quiet dependence on His mercy. There exists a silence before Fajr that cannot be compared to any other moment in the day or night. It is not the silence of emptiness or absence, but the silence of presence, depth and nearness. It is a silence that feels alive. The world in that hour seems to pause. Lights are turned off. Conversations have ended. Notifications have faded into stillness. And the constant noise that fills our lives finally retreats. The roads are empty. Homes are quiet. And even the air feels different, as if it carries a calm that cannot be explained, but only experienced. Prayer mats remain laid out or folded nearby, waiting patiently for the one who will rise. In that moment, distractions begin to lose their power, and the heart, often drowned out by the chaos of the day, begins to speak with a clarity that cannot be ignored. It is in this hour that the soul finds the courage to whisper what it hides all day. The fears that are buried beneath distractions, the hopes that feel too fragile to express, the regrets that weigh heavily but are constantly postponed, all of them begin to surface. During the day, people are surrounded by noise, responsibilities, expectations, and constant movement. There is always something to do, somewhere to go, someone to respond to. But before Fajr, there is nothing but stillness. And within that stillness, truth emerges. Many people miss this entirely because they remain asleep, unaware that such a moment even exists for them. They sleep through an opportunity that was not created randomly, but intentionally as a gift. Each one of us carries a burden that is not always visible to others. Some struggle under the weight of financial pressure, feeling the quiet anxiety of bills, responsibilities, and uncertainty about the future. Some live in environments where peace feels distant, where conversations are strained and hearts feel disconnected. Some carry emotional wounds that they do not know how to heal, smiling in front of others while breaking in private. Some cry silently at night, their tears unseen and their pain unspoken. And some have been turning to Allah for years, making supplication again and again, holding on to hope while quietly wondering why the answers seem delayed. None of this makes a person weak. None of this means a person has been abandoned or ignored. The struggle itself is seen. Every tear is known, and every silent prayer is heard, even when it feels like it disappears into the darkness. The reality is that the night itself has been structured with wisdom and purpose. It stretches from Maghrib until Fajr, divided into portions that reflect the rhythm of human life. The first part passes as people unwind from the day, seeking rest and distraction. The second part deepens into sleep, where most are completely unaware of their surroundings. Then comes the final part, the last third of the night, a portion unlike any other. This last third is a sacred opening, a window of time that holds a special closeness and mercy. The world remains in darkness, but the hearts that rise in this hour are already surrounded by light. This is not a time that requires perfection or elaborate preparation. It does not demand long speeches or flawless words. It asks only for sincerity, for a turning of the heart that is real and unfiltered. It is a time when actions are not performed for anyone else, when there is no audience, no recognition, no expectation, only a servant and the one who created them. As the night begins to shift toward dawn, the darkness softens. The sky transitions slowly, almost gently, from deep black to shades of blue. A faint line of light begins to appear at the horizon, signaling that a new day is approaching. The world still feels paused, suspended between night and day. Inside homes, people remain asleep, unaware of the quiet transformation taking place outside. And somewhere, a person rises not out of routine, not because of obligation alone, but because something within them longs for this moment. They rise to stand, to bow, to prostrate, to speak, not to people, but to the one who knows them better than they know themselves. This moment is not ordinary. It is not just another part of the night passing by. It is a meeting, a private and intimate appointment between the Creator and the servant. It is a space where honesty replaces pretense, where vulnerability is not hidden but embraced, and where the heart finally finds the freedom to express everything it has been carrying. In this final portion of the night, there exists a moment filled with immense mercy, generosity, and closeness. It is a moment that has been honored in a way that sets it apart from all other times. In this hour, Allah calls out to His servants, not out of need, but out of mercy and love. The call is an invitation open to anyone who is willing to respond. It is an opening for those who are seeking forgiveness, for those who are hoping for relief, for those who are searching for guidance, and for those who simply want to be close. This promise has been conveyed through the truthfulness of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in authentic narration. Allah descends to the lowest heaven in a manner that befits His Majesty during the last third of the night. This is not something to be imagined in human terms, but something to be believed with humility and awe. In that time, He offers forgiveness to those who seek it, mercy to those who ask for it, and acceptance to those who turn to Him sincerely. This moment does not instill fear in the heart of the believer, but hope, deep, overwhelming hope. It is the kind of hope that makes a person realize that no matter how heavy their burdens are, no matter how long they have been struggling, no matter how distant they may feel, there is always a door open. And not just open, but inviting. Once the heart experiences this connection, even briefly, it leaves a mark that cannot be erased. It becomes something the soul begins to long for, something it misses when it is absent. It transforms the way a person sees their struggles, their prayers, and their relationship with Allah. The night is no longer just a time for sleep, but a time of opportunity, healing, and closeness. This is the hour when hearts are mended, when burdens feel lighter, when tears become a form of strength rather than weakness. It is the hour when a person stands not as they appear to others, but as they truly are, stripped of all layers, speaking with honesty and humility. It is the hour when unseen doors open, when what feels impossible begins to feel within reach, and when the quiet connection between the servant and the Creator becomes stronger than anything else in this world. He does not threaten, and He does not call in a way that pushes people away. His call is filled with gentleness, mercy, and an openness that no human being can truly comprehend. In the depth of the night, when the world is quiet and distractions have faded, He calls out, offering, inviting, and welcoming. There is an honor in that call that cannot be measured, because it comes from the one who owns everything and is in need of nothing. His grandeur never decreases, His mercy never runs dry, and His generosity is not limited by time, place, or the condition of the one asking. Again and again, The call continues, not once, not occasionally, but every single night, repeated with a consistency that reflects a mercy that never tires. This is not a distant concept meant only to inspire. It is not something that belongs to the past or exists only in books and lectures. It is happening now, in real time, in the lives of people who choose to rise while others remain asleep. While homes are dark and the world appears still, a call is being made, and within that stillness, there are hearts being invited. Not as a crowd, not as a general audience, but individually, personally, in a way that reaches the depth of a person's reality. Every person carries something that weighs on them, something that follows them, even when they try to ignore it. There are those who sit beside hospital beds, watching the people they love grow weaker, feeling the quiet helplessness that comes from not being able to change the outcome. There are those who look at their children and feel a deep ache, seeing them drift further away from faith, from purpose, from the path they once hoped they would walk. There are those who live in relationships where words have lost their warmth, where silence stretches longer than conversation, and where hearts feel distant even when bodies are close. There are those who carry private struggles, hidden sins, and a weight of guilt that no one else sees, maintaining a composed exterior while internally battling shame and regret. In moments of reflection, something inside begins to recognize the truth of this state. There is a quiet acknowledgement that these struggles are real, personal, and deeply felt. Yet within all of this, the call of Allah does not change. It does not become distant because of sin, and it does not become restricted because of weakness. It remains open, consistent, and full of mercy. The one who calls is not limited in any way. He is Al-Malik, the absolute king, whose authority encompasses everything that exists. He is Ash-Shafi, the one who heals not only the body, but the heart, the mind, and the soul. He is Al-Ghani, completely free of need, independent of all creation. When he calls, it is not to remind a person of their failures in a way that humiliates them, but to open a path toward healing, toward forgiveness, and toward closeness. This call is directed at the individual in their most honest state. It reaches the one who feels exhausted, the one who has cried in silence, the one who carries unanswered thoughts and unspoken pain. In the stillness of the night, when everything slows down, Allah sees the one who rises. He sees the effort it takes to leave the comfort of sleep. He sees the body moving, even when it feels heavy. He sees the water used for purification, the quiet preparation that no one else witnesses. He sees the prayer mat being unfolded, the hands being raised, the eyes filling with tears before they even fall. He hears the whispers that have not yet formed into clear words, because he knows what is within the heart even before it is spoken. In that moment, there is no need for eloquence or perfection. There is only sincerity. The servant turns fully, without distraction, without pretense, without the need to impress anyone. There is a raw honesty that emerges, a vulnerability that is not feared but embraced, because it is directed to the one who understands it completely. Words may be simple, broken, or even incomplete, but they are real, and that reality is what gives them weight. This invitation is not something small or insignificant. It is not something that can be replaced or delayed without loss. The one who calls is the one who answers. The one who invites is the one who gives. The one who listens is the one who has the power to change every situation, no matter how complex or impossible it may seem. There are moments when a person continues to ask and still feels that nothing has changed. The same struggles remain, the same heaviness persists, and the same questions linger in the heart. In these moments, it becomes important to reflect on the example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Despite being forgiven, despite being guaranteed the highest, Ichushi, he stood in the night for long periods, his feet swelling from standing, his heart fully engaged in worship. His dingbazar was not driven by a need for forgiveness alone, but by gratitude, by love, and by a deep recognition of who Allah is. When this example is held up, it becomes clear that the relationship with Allah is not meant to be transactional or rushed. It is not about asking once and expecting immediate change. It is about consistency, about returning again and again, about building a connection that strengthens over time. The human being, in contrast, often becomes impatient, expecting quick results while putting in minimal effort. There is a tendency to become distracted, to prioritize temporary comforts over lasting connection, to delay what is important for what is easy. The path of standing in the night is not meant to be overwhelming. It is not reserved for those who are already strong, nor does it require long hours or extensive recitation. It begins with something small, something manageable, something sincere. A few minutes of standing, a few words spoken from the heart, a moment of true tiyom. This is enough to begin. What matters is not the length, but the consistency. What matters is not perfection, but sincerity. Over time, this consistency begins to transform the heart. It softens what was once hardened. It brings light into places that felt dark and closed. It creates a sense of closeness that cannot be replaced by anything else in this world. The struggles may not disappear immediately, but the way they are carried begins to change. The heart becomes stronger, more patient, more connected. This is the reality of that sacred hour. It is open to everyone, the one who feels distant, the one who feels broken, the one who feels hopeful, and even the one who feels lost. It is not a door that closes because of imperfection. It is a door that remains open because of mercy. Every night, the opportunity returns, the call is made, and the invitation stands, waiting for the one who chooses to respond. Begin 1 hour before Fajr. If that feels heavy on the body or overwhelming to the mind, then begin with 30 minutes. Even that may feel like a struggle at first, and that is completely natural. What matters is not how long a person stands, but that they stand at all. What matters is not the length of recitation, but the sincerity behind it. Allah does not measure these moments the way people measure effort. He looks at the heart, at the effort, at the quiet decision to rise when everything else invites a person to remain still. Ease into that time gently, without pressure, without the feeling that it has to be perfect. Divide it in a way that allows the heart to stay present. Spend a few moments with the Quran, even if it is only a single verse. Let the words move slowly across the tongue, not rushed, not mechanical. Let them settle, let them echo, let them reach deeper than sound. Sometimes a single verse, read with attention and presence, can open something within the heart that long recitation cannot. The Quran is not just something to be completed, it is something to be experienced, something that speaks differently in the stillness of the night than it does during the noise of the day. Then move into prayer. Stand quietly, even if the body feels heavy. Let the standing be calm, without haste. Bow with humility, feeling the weight of that movement and the meaning behind it. Then go into prostration and remain there longer than usual. That moment carries a depth that cannot be explained in simple words. When the forehead touches the ground, there is a surrender that goes beyond actions. It is a position where pride disappears, where titles and identities fall away, where nothing remains except a servant and their creator. In that closeness, the heart finds a space it does not find anywhere else. After that, turn to supplication. Let it come as it is, without trying to make it sound beautiful or structured. Let it be real. Let it be honest. Let the words come even if they are broken, even if they repeat, even if they feel incomplete. Speak from the depth of what is being carried inside. Speak with the awareness that Allah hears before the words are even formed, that He knows the feeling before it is expressed. Tears in that moment are not weakness, they are a language, a sign of presence, a reflection of sincerity that does not need translation. There is a subtle but powerful reality in being awake during that time. It is not simply a matter of discipline or personal strength. A person does not wake themselves up entirely on their own. There is something placed within them, a restlessness that interrupts sleep, a feeling that pulls them out of comfort, a quiet push towards something greater. That is not coincidence. That is an opening. That is an invitation. Allah allows that moment to exist for that person. He creates the opportunity. He facilitates the turning. And He brings the servant to a place where they can ask. The one who inspires the heart to turn is the one who intends to give. This realization changes everything. It shifts the way a person sees their worship, their effort, and their standing in the night. It is no longer seen as something forced or heavy, but as something given, something gifted. Even the ability to whisper a single, sincere word becomes something valuable beyond measure. Consistency is what transforms this from a moment into a relationship. One night may feel powerful, emotional, even life-changing, but it is the returning that builds something lasting. Coming back the next night, and the night after that, even when the feeling is not as strong, even when the heart feels distracted, even when tiredness takes over, that is where growth happens. The heart begins to change slowly. It softens in ways that are not immediately visible. It becomes more aware, more connected, more present. There will be moments when a person feels that nothing is changing, that their circumstances remain the same, that the heaviness is still there. But beneath the surface, something is shifting. The way the burden is carried becomes different. The heart begins to hold on to Allah more than it holds on to the problem. There is a quiet strength that develops, a patience that was not there before, and a sense of closeness that cannot be explained to someone who has not experienced it. When relief eventually comes, and it comes in ways that are sometimes expected and sometimes completely unexpected, it becomes important not to step away. Gratitude becomes the bridge that keeps the connection alive. Remaining consistent even after ease replaces hardship, continuing to return even when there is no urgent need. That is what deepens the relationship. Gratitude is not only spoken, it is lived. It is shown by staying, by continuing, by not disappearing once comfort returns. There are moments when the alarm sounds and the body resists. The warmth of the bed feels stronger than the desire to rise. The mind begins to justify staying still, to delay, to postpone. In that quiet internal struggle, something meaningful is taking place. Choosing to rise in that moment carries a weight far beyond the action itself. It is a response to a call that continues every single night, a call that does not force, but invites. In the last portion of the night, Allah continues to call out, offering forgiveness, mercy, and acceptance. Among countless people who remain asleep, there are those who rise, those who respond, and those who step into that moment of nearness. Being among them is not about being perfect. It is about being willing. Then comes the moment when everything within the heart is gathered and placed before Allah in supplication. Ya Allah, in this blessed hour, the hour filled with mercy and nearness, do not turn us away. Do not allow our hands to return empty, and do not let our hearts live in a state of loss. Heal those we love who are suffering and bring ease to their pain. Forgive the sins we carry, both those we remember and those we have forgotten. Guide our children and protect them from paths that lead them away from you. Place tranquility within our hearts after long periods of restlessness and worry. Strengthen us when we feel weak, and bring us closer even when we struggle to move toward you. Make our final actions the best of our actions. Make our final days the brightest of our days. Make our final words a remembrance of you, spoken with sincerity and truth. Accept from us, forgive us, and surround us with your mercy in this life and the next. Ameen. If these words settle deeply within the heart, then they have reached where they were meant to reach. This is not by accident, and it is not without purpose. It is a reminder, a moment of reflection, a quiet push towards something greater. The opportunity remains, returning every single night, waiting patiently for those who choose to rise, to respond, and to meet Allah in the stillness before Fajr.